Man, I will tell you what, we got a big one to start the day today. Good to see you guys. Thanks so much for finding the channel. I'm Craig. Welcome to the Side Scrolls Podcast channel. Once again, we're going to be back on Monday with our live show. I encourage you guys to come back and find us. If you're new to the channel, we're ready to go. But let's get to this story today, right here, right now. Okay, we talked about Ubisoft a lot. Okay, there's a lot of insanity going on. We know that they've had fail after fail after fail this year. We saw Skull and Bones, right? We've seen Star Wars Outlaws. We saw that shooter game that was supposed to be the Call of Duty killer. We saw the delay of Assassin's Creed Shadows to 2025. And it is all spelled doom for Ubisoft throughout the year. As we've seen their stock, literally, it's like that meme. It's stocks, except it's the exact opposite. Boom, straight down the entire year. It's been insane. Now, big news this morning coming out, because there's been a lot of talk about what Ubisoft is going to do. There's been talk about hostile takeovers, the idea of somebody going in, activist investor. That doesn't mean like an activist, like my ideology investor. It means like an activist that goes in and tries to get people over and take over the company from the existing owners, right? There's been talk of that. But this morning, there's talk that Ubisoft could potentially be acquired by Tencent. Now, who is Tencent? Well, we're going to get into that. Let's go over to this article. Hey, if it's your first time tuning in, make sure you subscribe. Join the 101,000 normal men who have found common sense in the video game space. Let's go to this article and check this thing out. Okay, so this is from seekingalpha.com, and this has been reported tons of different places this morning. Ubisoft jumps after report Tencent and the Guimond family evaluating takeover. Okay, they're talking about jumping, not meaning like jumping at the idea of a sale, but their stock price. We've talked about their stock price over and over again. We're going to show you that in just a second. But Ubisoft's ADRs jumped 21% after a report that Tencent Holdings and Ubisoft's founding Guimond family are considering a possible takeover of the French video game maker. Tencent and the Guimond Brothers Limited have been speaking with advisors on how to increase Ubisoft's value after the company lost half of its market value this year, according to a Bloomberg report on Friday, which cited people familiar with the matter. Now, Tencent currently owns 9.2% of Ubisoft. And you're like, oh, that doesn't sound like a whole lot. That is millions and millions of dollars of evaluation when it comes to these companies. So Tencent owns 9.2% of Ubisoft's net voting rights at the end of April, while the Guimond family held about 20%, according to the firm's latest annual report. Last month, the Wall Street Journal reported that a minority investor, AJ Investments, called for the video game maker to go private and install a new management team. The hedge fund is based in Slovakia and holds less than 1% of Ubisoft. Now, that was at the time. That jumped to 9% a little bit later on. So this is like, have you ever seen Succession and the insanity that's happening in that show? That was a pretty wacky ass show. Just the corporate espionage that's happening. That's what we're seeing in real time with Ubisoft right now. But as we said, this has been one of those things where you've looked at the stock and it jumped. Check this out. Look at how much this has jumped. Boom. In real time. Up 31% as of right now. Over $14 a share. It opened at just under 11, jumping up to 14. We're talking about buying the dip. Buying the dip. Over the last 5 days, it's kind of faltered. Over the last 3 months, look at this. Look at this insanity. Down 31%. It's still down 31%. If you owned Ubisoft stock 3 months ago, it's still down 31%. But it's recovering now just based off the talk of a possible acquisition. Now, this has been reported. We saw this from Wario 64 as well. One of the possibilities being discussed would involve teaming up to take the company private. So they are exploring all sorts of opportunities right now, all sorts of potential outs for Ubisoft. But it definitely, just based off these reports, they are looking at an out for the potentially Guimond family, no matter what it is, whether it's Ubisoft taking it private, and things apparently are turning quickly. Let's go back to Tencent for a second. How do you know that name? Well, Tencent is a massive Chinese company. Their evaluation is ridiculous. This company has hands in everything, right? But they have Tencent Games, and here is they have a company called Level Infinite that is owned by Tencent Games, and these are some of the games that they published. Most notably, PUBG Mobile. This game, PUBG was massive. Remember, like 5-6 years ago when everyone was playing PUBG? I played thousands of hours of Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, right? And this was the first battle royale game that really kind of took it from. It really took it mainstream. Now, it was not the first battle royale game, but it was the first one to really kind of take off. And then Fortnite copied that, and Fortnite took off. But and it still has a good player base on Steam, but PUBG Mobile dwarfs the player base on Steam, and it just prints money. A lot of these games are built around the same idea of like a PUBG style setup, but Tencent, they make actually pretty decent games. They really do. But it is a Chinese company, and looking at their actual revenue, I wanted to show you this. This is from 2013 to 2023. This company is growing, right? So when there's an opportunity to acquire another company that is dipping, they step in and they say, hey, how about that? So this is their annual revenue from 2013 to 2023. Boom, 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 boom. And this is in yuan, billion yuan. So just for perspective here, yuan, yuan, so stupid. In 2023, last year, 179 billion yuan along the way. Now, let's round that up to 180 billion, and let's just see kind of what that means, right? So thanks to Google DuckDuckGo and their calculator over here, their translator, 180 billion yuan, about $25.5 billion of revenue for this company. So this company is printing cash, just printing cash all over the place. It's crazy. Now, what does that mean for the evaluation of Ubisoft, right? How much could this potentially be sold for if Ubisoft was going to sell? Now, the volume of stocks out there are about 26 million right here. You can see the going up right here, right? Now, what is the market cap? 1.744 billion. Now, I checked that a little bit earlier, and it was 1.78 billion euros. Now, what that comes out to is about $2 billion. So I would say that if this company is going to be sold, it's going to be sold for at least that. Not, I want to say an exponential amount more than that, but couple $2-3 billion. Either way, the Gaimon family will never have to worry about money. But think about where this would have been if they would have turned around and thought about selling just, I don't know, 3 years ago. 3 years ago, even when they started to dip, even when they started to slide. I want to go back to that chart really quick. Had they started, if we go back 6 months from now, if they would have sold 6 months ago, they would have be so much more wealthy, right? And once again, it goes back to, what are we talking about here? Why did this start to slip? Well, they've obviously had fail after fail after fail, but why have they had fail after fail after fail? They're not listening to their customers. They haven't listened to their customers. Listen, back 5 years ago, we talked about this a million times. It's down 80% at their peak. Once again, we're talking about something that was at $85, $86, right? Now down to 13, was down to 10. So people have bought the dip. They see a potential out, and they see a potential opportunity to make money. That is what's happening right now. People buying stock and looking for a little bit extra money on the back end. This is a crazy situation. And Ubisoft has been, this has been this third-party developer that has worked from everybody from Nintendo to Sony and Microsoft across the board and everywhere else in between. This could be the end of this company as we know it. And that is crazy news to start the day. I will definitely keep you updated on this story as we go. We're certainly going to be talking about this next week during the show when we're back live again. But I encourage you to subscribe. One other thing I want to let you guys know. Today, we announced our categories for the Real Game Awards over on X and over on therealgameawards.com. If you guys haven't yet, we have 25 categories we just announced earlier today, and I encourage you to head over to therealgameawards.com and become a voting member. And once again, I've talked about this many, many times. The Real Game Awards is awesome. It's an alternative to the classic Jeff Keighley Awards that he runs every year. And the big difference between our show and their show, very simply, their show, you, the gamer, only gets 10% of the vote. In our show, you get 100% of the vote. So go over there and become a voting member. It's $30 for the entire year, and you can vote and actually have your voice heard by the gaming industry, which is really, really great. These 25 categories, Some of them are fairly traditional, some of them are very not, including jiggly physics. Let's just have fun with this. With that said, guys, have a great rest of your day. More videos coming up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Join the 101,000 normal men. Watch another video right here. Subscribe right here, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks.